We pivot, we pivot, we pivot. Count your blessings. Well, everything is dead, Dave. Everything is dead. You know, red dwarf. Anyone? Okay. It's not quite dead yet, but it's about to be all dead. At least we've got the goats. Well, let's just rip the band-aid off. What's happened is we have just dried up, basically. We're in a drought. We haven't had good rainfall for over 12 months, and we're normally in a very high rainfall area, and it just hasn't happened. And we've got to the point where we've had to buy water for the house, and we have almost dried up the dams. So watering the oval has taken a lot of water. I'll walk you through it all in a minute, but basically we've run out of water and there's no real rain on the horizon. And we've got to the point where we have to prioritise the perennials and the new trees that we've put in. So we're gonna have to let the garden die. Let's start with some drone shots. So this is before. We were in a drought. It hadn't rained all winter, but it was green because we'd had a cold winter and there's enough moisture from the frost and things to sort of keep things green and lush looking, like nothing was getting burnt off. The dams hadn't filled up, but we kind of hadn't thought about it just too much at that point. Anyway, this is now. It is just so dry and dead and barren. This is the same time last year. So you can kind of see we are really suffering the effects of drought at this point. We haven't had proper rain for over a year, and it didn't really rain in winter, which is when we should be collecting our water. And it's kind of got to the point where we cannot waste water on things that we don't need to waste water on. So the oval, greening up this oval and getting the kikuyu semi-established. We just hope we can hobble it through summer until it cools down a little bit. Maybe we'll have enough water, I'm not sure. That's a hope. Most of that green that you can see out there is not the kikuyu grass. The kikuyu grass is actually very, very immature at this point. These are weeds and other kinds of grasses because of course I've been watering this area, so anything that can germinate has germinated. But I'll just give you a quick look. So most of this is just weeds and things. The kikuyu is these little thin pieces, and then in these more sparse areas they're quite small, like little tufts. Thankfully they have come up and they are all over the oval, but we have a really long way to go with it. So this is of course one of the aspects of the property that we still need water for. And of course our new trees, which are suffering, they're starting to suffer. We're losing leaves, so we're just trying to hobble them through. We've got 10 ornamental pears, which you may have seen go in a previous video. And we've got the birch trees, and the birch trees are really, really struggling. As you may know, birch love moisture, and trying to keep the water up to them is not happening. I think I've lost 5 birch trees now. There's another one I can see it's died. I'll show you. Other than that, the ones that are left, how many we got? You can see where those white buckets are. That's so I can put sea salt and also a slow drip water on them. But I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 13 left. But this is another one. Number 14 has died. It is toast. I'd say there's nothing much left under there. Nah. So if you want to know if a tree is still alive, you just scrape a bit with your fingernail. There should be a green cambium layer. It doesn't have one, so it's gone. And this one over here, number 13, is not looking good. The lower half has dried up. So I need to get out here and give it a water, try and get that one through. It does have some new growth coming on, so my camera's not focusing, but you can see the difference here. Look, the skin has I don't want to do it too much because it's already under stress, but there's a green layer under that. So it's still alive. So that's the Wonder Baby. So from the small dam, which at the moment is looking like the big dam, because it's actually got more water in it than the big dam, that's our spring dam, and the spring's not filling up. So yeah, things are pretty bad, but the water from that we're just using to keep the oval alive. The trees are being watered off the other dam, which is the veggie patch dam, and so that's why we're cutting off the veggie patch now. We're just going to let it die and kiss goodbye to those plans I had for the season. Again, if you've been following for a while, there just seems to be something every single season that majorly goes wrong that just puts a stop to things. It is actually getting really hard to farm anything. So let's have a little walk through. I just imagined, you'd open the gate and it would be so abundant, but things are dying. They're not growing. Growth is stunted. It doesn't look at all how I'd hoped, but the infrastructure's there. So, I will pull things out. I don't think I can bear to actually just watch them die. And I can feed them to the goats, and we're getting the chickens soon. So at least it's not going to go to total waste. Tomatoes just never ripened, so that's okay. The zucchinis, I'm picking as many as I can before they die, and I'm freezing it. So that's just grating them up, squeezing the water out, putting them in bags and freezing them. And I have made some zucchini boats with, the scooped out zucchini. You put the mince and onion and cheese and stuff in, cook them, and I've been putting those in the freezer, and they're defrosting fine. So basically what the plan with my garden space is, which is probably the most heartbreaking of all because I was so happy about it. The pots I'm going to move up into the strawberry area here because the strawberries are a perennial. So I'm keeping any perennials alive, and I'll put my pots, because they're mainly herbs, up here, and I will only water this section. The cucumbers maybe, because we really love them. They're the crystal apple ones, especially Moroni loves those. And I've got a few dahlias scattered in through there, and I'll keep those alive so I can save tubers. But other than that, the veggie patch is going to start looking very different. Now plot 2 has almost all died off. We've stopped watering it. There's a few little spot plants that we're keeping alive. This, these chryses, this asparagus, and a couple of dahlias. And then, as you saw last week, I've put in my winter veg seeds. They've all germinated, and I'm just going to keep those alive because there is the hope that we may have enough water over winter to have some winter veg. And because the plants are so young, they're not going to take too much water, so we'll keep watering those. Everything else, we're just letting it die, which feels really sad. So my areas that I was cover cropping, we're just going to have to give up on that. So there was this plot that I had mustard and lab in. So it was just going to be covered in green, and then I was going to till it through the soil to improve the soil, ready for the blueberries. That plan is out the window now. And then we've got the back of plot 3, which was going to be beautiful. It had sunflower, zinnias and marigolds. They're actually looking okay. I have stopped watering, but as I'm walking up to these, I've got a couple of trees here, 2 crepe myrtles. They're the midnight, I can't remember, midnight diamond something, I can't remember. So as I'm walking up there with the hose, I'm just kind of spraying it out here. So it's getting a sniff of water, which seems to be enough at this point. We'll see what happens here. Oh, it'd be so nice. And I had some shelling peas as well that I was going to pick and store for winter. I do have another watermelon plant here, and I'm tossing up, do I keep watering it or let it go? I've got 2 watermelons on it. The corn we have let die. We might get a couple of ears off it that sort of, well, don't know. There's a couple there. They're not going to be very good. We might get something small off those. And then I've let this zucchini die. My potato row has been in for 4 months, so we can pick that. I stopped watering it. I'm going to come in and pick the potatoes, and I've stopped watering these vines, but this morning I was just filming a little segment, and look what I found. 1 big watermelon that I had not realised was there. So it's not a complete and utter loss. There is a few things that I'll get off this. I'll get the potatoes, maybe enough corn to eat it for one night. I'll have some zucchini in the freezer. We'll get 1 watermelon. And I'll keep my herbs. They'll stay alive, and I'll keep there's a couple of little perennials over there that I'm just going to spot water. Worst case scenario, we've started saving the water from our shower, like putting a bucket under us, and I will just come out with buckets to keep perennials alive. It's going to be a lot of hard work if I have to do that. Oh, I've got a couple of roses in here too. So other than that, I'm going to start ripping things out. Flowers have gone to seed, so I'll collect the seed. I'll probably spend next week working on this, and it'll just be stripped bare. We won't have it anymore. And then this idea for plot 3, I was going to cover crop that. That is 100% out the window. So I'll just have to improve that soil by buying in amendments. So I'll buy in manure. I'll finish weeding it, buy in some manure, maybe some mushroom compost, wood chips, things like that, and I'll just stir it through essentially. And that, not having moisture on it, it's never going to build great soil without the moisture, but there's nothing I can do about it. And it just sucks. Like, this looks so, to me, this looks awful. It's just so incredibly dry. With the house yard, I'll quickly just talk you through our plans. I guess one of the benefits of having this happen, it's made us think a bit harder about future-proofing the property. Bearing in mind, the next issue we have is most likely going to be floods. So I've got to think through what I'm going to do about that to direct water away from the garden beds. And I'm thinking of putting a big line of dirt along the back of that back fence so that the water is diverted around the edges of the field. I do have some plans for that, but in future proofing we have to really think about how we use water and collecting water. So we're working on some ideas for that, but also how to save water. And one of the ways we're going to save water is we're going to pull most of the garden out around the house and just have grass. We are planning on setting up a sprinkler system on the grass. And I know that there's lots of people who think grass is such a waste of time, but in a climate like ours, it provides something. If you can keep it green, it can stop you from being so depressed about everything being dead. And it's also very cooling. And so if we put the sprinkler system through, keep the grass around the house green, it just puts us on a little oasis, and remove the gardens so we don't have to water anything else at the house. It'll just be trees and grass. And the only spot that gets watered will be in that patch that we were just in. And then these trees that I've put in that are establishing, it'll be maybe a couple more years and then we won't have to water those either. So there's lots for me to think about in the direction of the farm. At this stage, I still have a lot of landscaping works to get done. So I'll be working on that now. I've got John Deere coming in 2 weeks to film a video. That'll be the last one that they film here. And then I'll just get stuck into tidying up everything. One of the benefits of moving some of the garden away from the house is we have had bushfire threat this year, and it's actually really scary, and it really makes you reassess things and think, you know, you really can't have junk around the house. And part of that junk is vegetation. The trees will leave because we love the trees, and you've seen where we live. It's not like we can remove trees. There's hundreds of them. So we will just clean up the garden as much as we can and sort of clean up garden beds, remove plants. There won't be so much vegetation around the house. There'll be the grass, which we plan to keep green through summer. In coming summers, this summer's done. Like, it's toast this summer, it's dead. We'll work on those irrigation lines over winter. I don't even know that we could get through the ground at this point. I need to run an irrigation line before the John Deere video is filmed. And the only way I can think of getting through that ground is to do auger holes all the way along, like just 100 auger holes to be able to dig a ditch. So I can't be doing that for hundreds of meters around the house. In terms of how do I feel about it, I kind of feel a bit numb actually. Like, it's just so disappointing. I'm trying to just look on the bright side of things. You know, it does make us reroute. I'm sick of watering everything. I don't have to now. I'll just do a couple of little spot waters. The goats will get a nice feed of vegetation. When we get the chickens, they'll think that they've entered, I don't know, some palace or something where they get full zucchini plants to eat for the day. So I don't know. I'm trying to just look on the bright side. I'm rethinking, what am I doing? I don't know. I actually don't know. I really enjoy making the videos, so I'll keep doing that. And I want to say thank you too. So I've been getting a lot of hypes, and I can't tell who they're from, but sometimes yous do tell me that yous have sent a hype on a video. Thank you so much. I'm absolutely amazing. What that does is, I think each person on YouTube gets 5 hypes for a week, I think. So you can choose 5 videos that you put a hype on. And I feel very blessed that yous are choosing my videos to put a hype on. And what that can do is it can rank your video higher and get you on the homepage of your country. And that did happen once. One of my videos did actually make it to the homepage. And I'm trying to think, I think it was in the top 20 of videos that day or week. I don't know how that works. I'm not sure how long it sat on the homepage for. I mean, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I mean, I actually couldn't do this without you. Like, I'd be documenting a diary, I guess, if nobody was watching, but I really appreciate it. And it feels like we've got this nice community here. So yeah, anyway, wanted to update you. I guess watch this space, because maybe it could be interesting to watch how everything dies over the next few weeks, unless there's some miracle and we get rain. I do suspect though we will get rain, but it won't be enough. And when we do get the rain, it's most likely going to be flooding, and it's going to have its whole new set of problems that you have seen on the past on this channel as well. So I will see you in the next video. And in the meantime, I hope you're doing well. I hope your gardens are flourishing and you're finding ways to keep them alive and going. Sadly, that is not the case for our garden at this time. But I'll see you next time. Bye.